What is an Advanced Health Directive, and why would I need one? Greetings, my name is Rick Ward. I'm a retirement coach and inspiring generational influencer. Come have a peek over my shoulder as I meet with my estate planner, Catherine Lynch of Cariad Legal, as she discusses what an Advanced Health Directive is and how that differs from an enduring power of guardianship. Again, all these documents may not be available in your locality, but here's the concept of what's available here in Western Australia, and you can talk to your estate planner in your locality of what documents are available and whether they're relevant to you and put into your context. That's something you need to follow up with. But the intent of this video is just to give you an idea of what a meeting would look like, what sort of questions to ask, give you some context, and so that will make your meeting with your advisor more productive and probably cost effective. Now let's have a look at that meeting in progress. So
these documents are null and void once you pass away. But while you're still alive, you've got the power of attorney, power of guardianship. And I will stress, as I always do anyway, but these documents are state specific.
Right.
And obviously that extends to, it'll be different again in the States and in all other jurisdictions. Unlike a will, so I can very comfortably draw up a will, and I think I said to you before, I'd be comfortable drawing up a will and be comfortable that it would be valid in the UK, for example,
right.
And certainly within all of Australia. These documents they're from a statute, so they're very structured, and you have to basically follow how it's set out in the legislation. There's not a lot of room to just make up your own stuff with these. With a will, you can kind of play around and be quite free with the content to an extent, of course. Right. With these, you have to stick to what the legislation sets out. What I do here, I have done Queensland powers of attorney, and those documents are different because they cover both the medical and the financial side of things. And other states also, they refer to them differently as well. So in Victoria, they talk about a power of attorney and a medical power of attorney,
right.
Which I think that's really good. It makes more sense. Mm-hmm. We like to be different in WA. We refer to a power of attorney and then a power of guardianship.
Now your Advanced Health Directive. Now, is that a Commonwealth thing? So here, your guardian, is the power of guardianship going to cover that? And I don't need that because they can make those decisions for me?
So
that's not what we would call
my understanding of it, and what we call, I think in the US they're referred to as living wills.
They do.
Yeah.
And here in WA, anyway, I heard of it.
Advanced Health Directive.
Right, that's
yeah.
Right.
So there's a hierarchy. The Advanced Health Directive sits at the top, and it will overrule anything else. But my advice, this is the way I operate, I recommend that people have an enduring power of guardianship. So that's giving somebody else the power to make all of those medical decisions for you and lifestyle decisions. So we're not just talking about whether or not to switch off the life support machine. We're talking about which particular care facility to put into.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, all of that sort of stuff right through. If you're giving somebody that power, obviously hopefully that's going to be somebody that you trust, that knows and understands the type of person you are, your values, the types of things you would want. It makes sense to have that person able to make those decisions and leaving it at that, in my opinion. An Advanced Health Directive is where you set out what you want to happen. If this happens, I want this to happen.
Right.
I'm not a medical professional. Very, very few of my clients are medical professionals, so I don't feel comfortable drafting up what I see to be really very medical, technically very medical, the instructions that you'd put in that type of document. So I recommend my clients go and see their GP.
Yeah, there's a template for doing the forms, but it says on there to get medical advice or
Yeah.
So I guess the real distinction I'm making just struck me, is that the enduring power of guardian is I'm trusting somebody else to make those choices for me.
Yeah.
But if I'm really particular about something and I want my
Yes.
need, I want to follow to the letter, then I'll do the Advanced Health Directive, and that sits on top of the other one, so that has
That's correct. And the only time that I've seen a justification for doing that, like a real, yeah, we will do that, we'll put that in place. We had a husband and wife, and of course they were happy to name each other in those capacities, but the wife, so the husband was happy for her to make all decisions. The wife was adamant that under no circumstances would she accept a blood transfusion.
Right.
However, her husband didn't share her beliefs.
Right.
And she knew that if she was in a position where she needed blood, he would say, give her blood. So that's a very clear example.
I think it's very common. That's what I hear the most.
Yes. Okay. Often though, you've got, married couples that, for religious reasons, for example, they might both share the same beliefs. This was one where, they didn't share the same beliefs, and it had to be written down for her peace of mind, that her wishes would be followed. That's the only real.
No, that's very helpful to get that clear in my mind.
Example I can give
and I'm sorry because I talk to nursing homes. They says, "Oh, we really should be having that document."
Yeah.
But I'm quite happy and confident to let my guardian make that. They know what I want, and in the end, they're going to make the call. And so I'm happy with that. But I could see there be individuals in that case, or even other ones, just say, "No, I'm going to dictate everything that happens. I'm going to have control over everything."
Yeah.
And
the difficulty always, and it's the same with doing a will. Well, certain types of will that are non-revocable, or that really try to control way beyond your death. I mean, often that they're not even really valid, but people attempt to do these things, and you just can't foresee what might possibly happen in the future, and what you would want in the future. You might say, right now, if this happens, then I 100% want this to happen. Technology changes, we change.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not something that I personally recommend.
No, and I think I wouldn't either under the same circumstances.
But of course,
really got to find someone that you really trust and you communicate clearly with them, so they know.
And unfortunately, sometimes there are people that don't have somebody that they can name.
Because my other issue is I've seen where that person changes their mind. They said, "Oh yes, we're fine. Won't resus. We'll do all this." But then when that circumstance actually comes up, they change their mind. Yeah. And even though you've talked to them and agreed, but because of their reasons, they change their mind. But no, I can't do it. I can't do it. So
yes.
That'll be it. But anyway.
Yeah. And something else. I read an article recently with another lawyer wrote an article about this, and I agreed with his point of view. He was saying types of things that I say, and his point was you can put something, for example, his example was you say in this Advanced Health Directive, if I have a stroke, I don't want to be resuscitated, for example. And then that happens and the doctors get this document and they say, well, we don't recognise that word. We don't use the word stroke. We use another term altogether, so we're not going to recognise these wishes. For example, I don't know what would actually happen or how it would work, but it's just an example of.
I think in the end, we do some planning, we put the best that we can into place, and that's it. The thing I'm trying to avoid is not having anything in place, and it's a huge stress on everyone. No one knows what your wishes were, what did you want.
Yes.
You get caught up in the courts, whatever.
Yeah.
So, in the end, be as prepared as you can, and then.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think we're going to be relying on our doctors, our specialists, and their advice because they are the specialists.
Yeah.
But you do want to give somebody that power, because if they don't have the power, then you risk the possibility of the specialists not listening at all.
Right.
And you don't want that.
That's helped me a lot. I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a quick look at this Advanced Health Directive. This is a hierarchy of treatment decision making. Your Advanced Health Directive sits over the top of all your other documents. Your enduring power of guardian, spouse, adult children. There's the hierarchy of decision making. So if it's important to you that you have your wishes absolutely heard and abide by the medical profession, this overrides everything. So it's quite an important document. Again, this sort of document might be called a living will in another jurisdiction. You want to talk to your advisor about what might be available in your area. Okay, this is the actual government form that you can download off the internet if you're in Australia. And so you've got to note, very basic. Basically it says what date it was made, made by who, your resident address. It just identifies who you are and proving about that. And then there's just a page there saying that, there you go, your treatment decision. So in the following circumstances, I consent or refuse consent. You can cross out whichever one. I would write this out fully about either consent or refuse, whether there's blood transfusions, resus, whatever that might be. And the same thing, there might be multiple treatments, and so you'd have the same written on each one of those. So basically just, it's written out there what treatment that this pertains to, and whether you consent or you don't consent. And then it's got to be witnessed, and so it's, again, each page is signed by the maker's signature and then the authorized witness. Again, these are going to have to come from the list of authorized signatures in your jurisdiction, so you need to look that up. Again, if you're using an advisor, now this one, some lawyers draw up. They always tell you to get either legal and medical advice when drawing this up. As outlined in my video, my estate planner attorney, she wasn't keen to do this because she sees this more as a medical decision and ramifications around that. And she gives some really good advice around whether you need one of these or not. But if it's something that's very important to you, then I would definitely go through with your GP. So you get the wording right of what the treatments are called, and so you're fully aware of what you're signing. And that is it. And also on this document, they want to know if you have an enduring power of guardianship. Now this specifics would override that, but chances are this document would sit alongside that. So your enduring power of guardian would have a copy of this document. So under these particular circumstances, these have to be abided by. But anything not covered by this document would resort back to your enduring power of guardianship. And so your guardian would still make those calls. These are just for particular treatments that you consent to or don't consent to. So you tick the little box there, enduring power of guardianship. And that's all there is to it. Advanced Health Directive sits on top of the hierarchy of treatment decisions. To create an Advanced Health Directive, you need to be 18 years old and a full legal capacity. An Advanced Health Directive can speak on your behalf if you lose the capacity to make medical decisions. The Advanced Health Directive can direct what medical treatments you consent to and which ones you refuse. The Advanced Health Directive could be in place with or without enduring power of guardianship. I hope you found that informative, and that an Advanced Health Directive or a similar sort of document might be helpful in organizing your affairs. If you did, give me a thumbs up. You can find this document on my website, yourjourneytransitions.com, under Documents. Keep in mind that Advanced Health Directive may not be necessary or even available in your area. This is something to talk over with your professional estate planner. This video is just something to get you start thinking about your estate planning and how much control you actually want over the whole process. If you're new to this channel and you want to know more, hit the subscribe button. And most importantly, hit the share button and share this with everyone in your network, everyone in your social media, family, friends, workmates, anyone you meet over 50, that you would like to give them the gift of peace of mind and well-being in their retirement years. And I encourage you to check out my other videos. There are 6 videos in this series. You can also follow me on my Facebook page, Your Journey Transitions, or my website, yourjourneytransitions.com. I hope you join me in the next video in this series, What is an Enduring Power of Attorney? If you want to be notified as soon as I release a video, hit the notification bell. Until next time, this is Rick Ward, your guide through the retirement stages, wishing you an extraordinary retirement.
Cocoon.
What comes out of a cocoon?
Butterflies.
Are butterflies beautiful?
Yeah.